the season. That was one where the Broncos won 16-10. That was really a hard-fought defensive struggle. I think when the Raiders and the Broncos play, and I think we can all pretty much agree that the Broncos have the consensus best defense probably in the National Football League. I mean, their numbers certainly back it up. If they're not number one, they're definitely top 5 somewhere. And probably the best in the AFC for sure. I mean, maybe the Jets maybe have better defense. So going into this game, I expected it to be a low-scoring affair. Brock Osweiler, he's looked very, very good. He's put up a lot of points. So I kind of had the suspicion that if the Raiders were to win this game today, they weren't going to do it in the usual Raiders manner, which is just scoring a lot of points and, just praying that Denver doesn't get back in the ball game late. This one, they beat Denver at their own game. They out-defended them. They beat the crap out of them. Sometimes over the course of a season, you'll end up watching a game and you'll say to yourself, okay, this is a sign of things to come. This is a harbinger. Or is it harbinger? It's a harbinger. My apologies. Sometimes I don't stress the appropriate syllables. Things are a harbinger of things to come. And today, the entire season for the Raiders thus far, and for those of you that are really wondering what happened today, the Raiders actually won. They beat Denver 15-12. So one of the biggest upsets of the entire season and a huge, huge, huge win. The Raiders need this one about as bad as any team that needed to win in the National Football League this week. But going back to the Raiders, so far this season, it's been all about the offense. It's been about Derek Carr, who has been throwing 300 yards a game at will. This game he did. He got 2 touchdowns, threw for less than 150 yards, I believe, so it's definitely under 200. It's been about the receivers. It's about Michael Crabtree, got the extension. It's been about Seth Roberts. It's been about Michael Rivera. It's been about Latavius Murray, kind of underperforming, but doing well enough in most games to, not really be sort of on the back burner at this point. And of course, Amari Cooper, who is without question one of the most thrilling wide receivers in the NFL, if he can hold on to the ball, which apparently he's still learning. We haven't even talked about Clyde Walford yet. So all that to say, the Raiders, they've been an explosive offense, except in the games where the defense was just stifled. Going back to the Detroit game, the game against, who was it, a couple weeks ago, Minnesota, they just couldn't get the engine cranked up. But it's been all about the offense. We've been saying a lot of bad things about the defense, with the exception of Charles Woodson and David Amerson. But this game today made me a believer in the Raiders' defensive chances next year. I mean, this season, technically we're not eliminated from the playoffs quite yet, but for us to make it, number one, we have to win every game from here on out, which is probably not going to happen. Plus, Pittsburgh and New York would have to lose at least 2 games apiece, which is probably not going to happen. But just watching this game, looking at the way the defense played, not just Khalil Mack. We're going to talk a lot about Khalil Mack, but just the entire defensive unit not allowing Denver to score a single touchdown. The red zone defense, coming up big, blitzing the hell out of Brock Osweiler, absolutely refusing to give up, the rushing attack. Just keep sending defenders after them, keeping the pressure on all day. This was a sterling performance by the Raiders defense. This is one of the most impressive Raiders defensive showings I've seen in a long time. And of course, not to say that the offense itself didn't do anything bad, because, folks, this is a team that had, I believe, negative 12 yards heading into the second quarter. Or at the end of the second quarter, they had negative 12 yards. That's the Raiders. But they finished the game a little bit better than 200. So over the course of, two quarters, their offense came alive. But it came alive because it was facilitated by the defense. And Khalil Mack, when you watch this guy play, he had the best day any Raiders defenders had since 2006. 5 sacks, a safety, absolutely crushed Brock Osweiler today. Khalil Mack is a stud. Khalil Mack is a Pro Bowler already. He's going to be the next Ray Lewis. And not just because he wears 52. He's going to be the defensive linebacker threat. Going out there playing as defensive end, I know. He is just a killer. This guy is just one of the most ferocious talents, and he's the best defensive acquisition the Raiders have had since Charles Woodson. This guy is good. And, you know, you go back and look at the 2014 draft. You look at all the guys the Raiders picked up. They picked up Derek Carr, who's going to be their defensive anchor for the next 10 years. They picked up, did I say Derek Carr? They picked up Derek Carr, who's going to be their offensive anchor for the next 10 years. They picked up Khalil Mack, who's going to be their defensive anchor for the next 10 years. I mean, that's one of the best drafts any team's had in a long time. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to sell the Raiders more than, you know, they probably should, because, you know, this team, they're good. Unquestionably, they're good. They're the best team we've seen since 2011. But they're not there yet. They're not a playoff team at this moment. The defense, however, is improving, and we're seeing that with Khalil Mack. If we can get the offense rolling on a regular basis, we can get the engine cranked early, this is a very, very good team to go win the AFC Championship. And we've seen this now in wins over San Diego. We saw this in the win over Denver. We saw this in a win over the Jets. We saw this by the fact that they kept it very, very close against Pittsburgh, down to the wire, that this is a team that can compete against the best in the National Football League. And throwing special teams, Marquette King, you know, really unheralded guy. Give him credit, too, for what he does. He's really a huge variable for this team as well, you know, getting them in good defensive standing, you know, putting, you know, the opponents backwards to make it easier for the secondary to actually go after them. This is a team that, you know, they're going to finish out 7-9 maybe. You know, I think it's probably the conservative estimate. You know, their chances against Green Bay aren't looking too good. San Diego's probably a win. They'll get them to 7. And then Kansas City, just kind of playing for pride at that point. We'll see. But next year, if they can keep this core, and Khalil Mack is going to get better. Derek Carr is going to get better. If you can get some guys in the secondary, if you can get some people to back up Anderson, Woodson, he'll probably play another year. If you can just keep adding to that, if you can beef up the defensive line, this team, watch out, they got a chance. And, you know, I don't want to make too much of this because it was a very sloppy game. It was not a dominant win by the Raiders. It could have gone a lot of ways. There was a lot of luck involved in this one. But it wasn't just blind, dumb luck. The Raiders had to make it happen. And they made it happen by coming alive when they were down, you know, deep heading in the third quarter. And they did it with a dynamic defensive showing. So this is one of those games where next year, when the Raiders go 11-5, when they win the AFC West, when they make that strong Super Bowl push, people are going to say, you know what? Well, I remember going back in the 2015 season, watching that game against Denver, watching Khalil Mack sack Brock Osweiler 5 times. I knew it then. This Raiders team, they were for real. And, you know, if there's any takeaway from today's game, anything you know from that 15-12 victory over you know, a team that at the moment has the best record in the AFC, that is, the time is coming, and that time is going to get here much sooner than later. Go Raiders.